Hello, I'm Stephen Monkey Mason, and welcome back to It's Just a Podcast, along with Paul Ray.
Alright.
And Mr. Carl himself, Lubo McStory.
Alright.
And tonight we're doing Gremlins. Now this has been on the card for fucking far too long, this one. We will get to Waterworld. So we're going to press play after 3, 2, 1, play! Now this is the first time the Warner Brothers logo had been reused because it had been the Wormy logo for a few decades, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Because Joe Dante wanted to bring this back. Joe Dante is still confirmed for HorrorCon in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm getting a bit excited, but I don't think they're going to let anyone across from America in, like.
I'll be honest with you, even if they all turn up, I'm going to be gutted because the bottom line is I just don't think, travelling down to Manchester in what is going to be a heavily crowded room, photo opportunities are going to be a metre apart from each other, so it's not really going to be the same. And then obviously you're not going to really get to talk to the people because they're probably going to have someone hand you stuff over.
Yeah.
So it's just like it takes away all the personality of it. So yeah. I'll be honest, if it goes on, I would cancel, but I would be good because obviously Joe Dante not like to come over here very often.
Well, I went to see this at the Pictures, believe it or not. I was with my dad's friends in the Isle of Man, and they were just keeping me entertained. And I saw it on a rerun, but it's one of my first experiences I can remember at the Pictures. And this is one of the films that made the UK have a 15 and America PG-13.
PG-13. And what was the other film that inspired PG-13? Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. Melting faces and shit. Now, this is obviously lately in pop culture, a lot of people have the drawing of this room and all the 80s references in it, that classic print.
I've still got it on my phone. I haven't got the heart to delete it. I want a big picture of it.
A lot of people thought this was the guy from Big Chum Little China as well.
Could be short round as well, couldn't it?
Could be. Now he was he's an artist. He did some of the artwork for Enter the Dragon, I think.
Really?
Yeah. And the guy, Holt, so whatever you want to call him, he is a professional country singer.
Yeah. What do you think of the idea of the animated series that apparently is in the works?
I mean, Joe Dante said it best. It's one of those films that, I think the two films work really well, and I think, again, the bipolar opposites. But again, I think it's one of those films that just lives in the 80s. This embodies the 80s, do you know what I mean? It's got Steven Spielberg, It's got Joe Dante, it's got Corey Feldman in it, and it's just, you've got Jerry Goldsmith, and it's master of craft, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously for anybody who's listening, or even you guys, if you're not familiar, it could just go like, as the first and second one do, it goes completely different. So the story is based on the fact that this little kid and Gizmo actually go on like adventure. Does that sound a little bit more like a Pokemon kind of theme?
Yeah.
And obviously apparently they're going to use a lot of Japanese and Chinese cultural kind of mythology. So there's going to be so many different beasts, and I just feel like it would be such a bad tone. I think kids might buy into it, but then at the same time, a kid's watching this today. I don't know if this is still one of those.
This is no, this. I mean, Paul will back me up here. This is transcessed to another generation, hasn't it, Paul?
Yeah. I think it's on TV at Christmas, not me, and everyone always watches it, and it's still one of the best sellers. I mean, you kind of big Gremlins, like. The first time I seen this was on TV, on your black and white little portable TV.
I'll be honest with you, this is like a lot of stuff, because that might sound like a bit of a broken record when that kind of question gets picked up. This would have been VHS for me. Literally, as a child, like all my views on films generally came from rental.
Yeah.
Obviously, a bunch of them from TV as well, but I just remember this being a big box VHS. And just not really knowing too much about it. I think, again, goes back to the artwork. It was interesting.
Well, there was a lot of backlash over this because obviously Steven Spielberg, this script had been done as a treatment for a long time and it done the rounds as like a writing sample. And like the original script is really dark. I mean, in the book, Gizmo is named Mogwai, and Mogwais are sent to every planet in the universe to see what that race is doing. The Mogwai is essentially an alien if you read the book. But also, the original idea of the movie, this wasn't a comedy. I mean, the dog gets eaten, the mom gets its head chopped off, do you know what I mean? They actually murder the entire town, do you know what I mean?
Well, this is it. I mean, I mentioned it the other day, what I dub is probably one of the worst storytellings in the world. But I mean, it gets to that point where you are having a bit of a chuckle, but then BB Kate comes in with a story about her dad, and that's quite, when you think about it, it's quite a gruesome story.
Does anyone
I always
else?
find that this
Sorry.
bit, yeah, the slow motion bit, the slow motion bit with the rules, I always think it's freaky, I don't know why.
Well,
it's a nice touch.
I mean, there's Indiana Jones crossover there. But the things about it is, that was all added later on. But as well, I always thought it's the same time as Big Trouble in Little China, as Kingston's Falls. Also used in Back to the Future, isn't it?
Just about to say, yeah, take away the snow, you've got Back to the Future.
Now, Joe Dante, like, I don't like yellow and red font. I hate it. I hate our font.
It's a bit, it doesn't fit this, like, I'm going to say it didn't fit the tone, but this, like, screamed out that it wasn't originally like this. And this looks like someone done this later on for Blu-ray or for, like, DVD.
Well, it's always been the same, like.
Yeah, I know. That's what I always think of. I just think of, like, it doesn't feel like this goes with the film. I just feel like someone came along later on and goes, oh, let's use yellow and red because now they've got, like, high def, we can really go out and make it stand out.
Yeah.
The kid himself, Mr. Feldman.
Roy Feldman. I mean, again, when they did pop vinyls, Feldman should have been a Christmas tree. I mean, he's got quite a small part in it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up as a voice in the new series.
Yeah.
I also forget Judge Reinhold's in this.
Well, his part gets heavily cut because his most of his scenes get left on the deleted because he ends up in prison, and that's where he goes in the story. Because he would just come off Rosemont High with Phoebe Cates.
Was he in it?
He's the star of it. Yeah, he's the main star.
Ridgemont High.
Yeah, Fast Times, aye. Because he's the one who has a fight over the burger.
You know, I watched that probably about maybe a month ago or so, and for some reason I don't remember. Mate, did he look like marginally different?
Now, Paul, do you want to tell us a bit about Dick Miller there?
Excellent. He's in everything Joe Dante's done, he's been in. He was in Little Shop of Horrors, original 1960s one.
Well, the Jack Nicholson one.
Yeah, he's in the Jack Nicholson Little Shop of Horrors. He's just in everything. It's just a nice little face to have a little, pop up and say hello. I watched a documentary a few years ago, but he died, didn't he, last year?
Yeah, what a shame, yeah.
And there's a documentary on Amazon Prime about Dick Miller. It's really interesting, but no, he always brings a bit of joy to you because he goes, it's a Joe Dante film. There's Dick Miller, Joe Dante, there's Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah, there's a couple of them always in his films, like, isn't there? So. There you go. A Boy's Life is the original name for E.T. and Watch the Skies is the original name for Close Encounters. And Burger King is the same shop. Does anyone know what the dog's called?
Einstein.
Mushroom.
Chris Columbus one. Chris Columbus.
That's one of my favourite Christmas songs. Well, I shit you not, that Burger King, I'm sure that's the same as Back to the Future. It's in the same bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's likely, yeah. So I was just looking earlier on in preparation of what sort of tagline, because I always thought this had some unusual tagline, but as the list goes...
what you see is what you don't get.
Clever, mischievous, intelligent, dangerous. Kind of like, not really a tagline, just a list of stuff. The one I don't really understand is, you can't get burned saying Gremlins. I mean, it's interesting, but, Steven Spielberg presents. Not really a tagline though. And then what you see isn't always what you get. Gremlins are coming. Don't get them wet. Keep them out of bright light, and never feed them after midnight.
Oh, but we're back.
That's
and I was about to say, and we're back.
now the thing is,
the
right?
one which I don't think. Well,
I was just going to say though that the fucking "we're back" doesn't make any sense unless you are from that era and realise VHS were a limited run. when VHS got reissued, it was like, "We're back." That's when that came from.
I was about to say on what I'm looking at now. It says we're back, and it says 1985 re-release. So clearly it was more of a marketing thing.
Because I was when Dick Miller was talking about World War II, about Gremlins being in the planes. I always thought it was because of them.
That'd be a great prequel story. Now, What If magazines that I am appearing in Volume 4, their Volume 2 actually is a prequel story to the Gremlins. What if the Gremlins did sabotage World War?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with this sort of film. You could totally imagine that this is not the first time. Clearly, like obviously that little Chinese dude, he's been around a while. And
there's Dick Miller randomly in the background, and Joe Dante doesn't even know why he was there. He was just there on the set, so they shoved him in. But like, he's literally. Sorry, Carl. Continue.
Well, no, because I was just actually going to say earlier on when Paul was talking about him, it just, when he said, he pops up and everything, he just strikes me as one of those actors who, like, just went for a wander on set. He's like, oh, Dick, how you doing, mate? You want to just come and stand in for a second? You always felt like that kind of role.
But like a backlogged hero.
Yeah, pretty much. Wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't a costume. He just happened to be wearing that.
They reckon she was that good of an actor, Mrs. Deagleman, that they had to cut her down in the editing room floor to keep her like as a fucking ass, because like you kind of felt sorry for her. Now Zach Galion is basically like, he was cast out of New York. This is one of his first films, so they went for a proper blue chipper, is that what you call them? He often gets a lot of grief for being like deadpan, leaving his mouth open. So you might notice that through the movie. He was in this. He's in Gremlins 2 and Waxworks. He was in. He's been in a couple of films with Feldman, like Round Trip to Heaven. But he's sort of made a lot of money off the cons off this movie alone, hasn't he?
He's supposed to be down from Manchester as well, isn't he?
Yeah. I mean, again, for HorrorCon, I love HorrorCon, but I don't think it's going to happen. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you'd be instantly fired over that, like when you. Now, Judge, there he is. Obviously, known for all three Beverly Hills Cops as well. What was that movie I always remember where he's jumping up and like the desk is on a tilt?
Vice versa.
And then that was it. That's it, though. He sort of fell off the radar as well, hasn't he?
But that was it. I mean, he made a career out of Beverly Hills Cop, didn't he? That, if anyone saw him on screen, that was the one thing that you know him for.
I mean, going back to that as well.
I think what his name is.
Phoebe Cates. She got married, didn't she, to a prince or something?
She needed to.
What's a math?
Now, I don't know the guy's name, but he's a very famous artist, isn't he? Who's talking
Dick Jones? No, not Dick Jones. Warner Brothers, a cartoon guy, did Bugs Bunny. What's his name? Oh, I haven't got my phone to thing yet. Because obviously Joe Dante's a really big fan of cartoons and Looney Tunes and stuff, so we got him on set, didn't they?
I mean, this is a...
You're not thinking of Mel Blanc? No.
Maybe.
Look at that guy with Santa hat on. Now, I mean, Phoebe Cates, I mean, she bared all in Rosemont High, and you're like, wow, and like, she had the chance to become this big, like, heartthrob. I mean, even Phoenix TX wrote a song about her. I think they got sued to fuck again about Phoebe Cates, but I don't think she's made anything after Drop Dead Fred, I don't think.
I haven't seen that. It's big enough for that. Just got 2 jobs, though, bless her.
I give her a lot of grief, like, because I think she is a bit of an awful actress.
She's beautiful, though.
But I was about to say, but you can tell she's made a good career out of, you know, being a pretty girl.
Girl next door.
Yeah. So our last working job on IMDb is Lego Dimension, which was 2015. So she did the voice of Kate Burringer, whoever that is.
It's for the game. It's for the game because it did those add-on packs with replaced Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, that would have been. She just done her own voice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, 91, Drop Dead Fred, Body Rest in Motion, came after that in 1993, so 2 years later, Princess Caribou in 1994, and then something called The Anniversary Party in 2001, and then, of course, 2015 for the voice, so yeah, she must be sitting pretty somewhere, like I say.
The pulse of fucking egg machine. Some of these inventions are far ahead of the time, but some of them are like proper right. But you've got to look in the background because Joe Dante likes to fill the screen up, mind.
Yeah.
What's your favourite Joe Dante film?
As a kid, this, but as an adult, The Burbs, because I think there's just something brilliant about The Burbs. I do like a lot of his newer films. Unfortunately, don't get like much release, like Burying the Ex-Girlfriend and all that. But I think he's a really, really good filmmaker. But again, he's just he's peaked in the 80s, and I don't think he really cared after that. Do you know what I mean?
It is because most of the films ended up being flops, didn't they? After Gremlins 2 and stuff like that.
Joe Dante is he's like John Carpenter. His films find the audience ahead of time. People, you know what I mean? They need to find the audience.
For me, I would have to agree with Mason. I think The Burbs overall stand out. There's just so many layers to that film. It's just pure entertainment at the same time as well. So I'll give it that. But apparently, I'm reading that. After Gremlin 2, which was quite a well-received series, he did quite a lot of episodes for Erie, Indiana.
Yeah,
so obviously we're still kind of riding there. But I'm looking at a lot of stuff. Small Soldiers was probably Looney Tunes back in action. Didn't receive very well either. So
The Hole gets a lot of credit. No, it's the one without Keira Knightley.
It's a family film, but it's really dark. It's a really dark family film, but it's really good.
It's one of the early 3D films, wasn't it, Paul?
So what, mate?
It was a very early 3D film as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. They're doing 3D. Yeah. They just didn't have an audience, but you could watch it. Not many people know about our film, but I think that's thing I've seen it.
Now, Gizmo's head on some of these things is fucking huge, but the dog thinks it's real. I think the dog steals the show here.
Oh, you can totally see the dog is like well into it.
Hello.
Gizmo. Now, a lot of people may or not know this, but Gizmo originally turns into Stripe.
I've heard that. That even might have came from you, Mason, but I have heard that.
It was 3/4 in the way in a post-production. Steven Spielberg said, we need to keep Gizmo in the film because he's going to be what sells this fucking movie. Because originally, he when he multiplies, he's like sort of like the evil little genius behind it. And again, it just shows you how fucking smart Steven Spielberg was. But yeah, Joe Dante says they nearly had a fucking fit. That head there, that is huge. That's about 2 foot, that head. It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, for close-ups. But they had a freak, but that's why they invented the backpack. So obviously Billy can carry him around and it'd be a bit more control.
And Howie Mandel does the voice, doesn't he?
He does, but apparently he did not sing the song.
Well, a lot of that's Michael Winslow as well, though. He does a lot of the back-end voices.
He came and did a lot, yeah.
Now the rules. Only in the 80s. Only in the 80s.
sorry, I was going to say that was one of the last taglines for the film was they didn't obey the rules. But to be honest with you, it is 80s, and let's be honest, guys. I know it's just a film, but if the 80s was to follow all the rules, we wouldn't have many very good films.
No.
You've got to break the rules. My favourite one of all time, just because it's so silly, but I mean the film's ridiculous, but it always makes me laugh, is Evil Dead. Because you consider everything that happens is because he picks up the book and he reads the words out loud. Not being funny, boy, but when was the last time you picked the book up and thought, I'll tell you what, I'm going to read this out loud?
I do that all the time on a bus, that's why people look at it as funny.
Yeah.
No.
I just look at it thinking, I can't imagine anyone picking a book up in a room on their own and then reading word for word out loud. It just seems really, like, bizarre.
I gotta say, that Mogwai Gizmo looks amazing. Like, I know it's like a puppetry
It's
from
class.
like 30 odd years ago. It still looks amazing to this day. Now, Mason, I gotta say, the Gremlins 4K cover, the bubblegum cover, looks real. I love that cover much better than the Steelbook. The Steelbook one just did not do anything for us.
Right, well, we'll quickly talk about the covers because I do have the Steelbook. This is what I'm watching on. I hate it. It's the last thing I ever bought off Savvy. The pricks. I do think bringing in the yellow was a bit weird.
It's bubblegummy. It's lovely. I like it.
I love the original art cover of the box. E.T. hidden in his buckle belt. Gizmo's eyes looking out the box. Then for years we got Stripe busting through the box. And then we got the most common cover known now is bright white, Gizmo waving in the shadow of Stripe. But for them to change it all up.
For the Steelbook.
Yeah, but one of the nicest editions I bought out on Blu-ray was the Magnet Pack, which I bought, and I'm forgetting where I got it from, but that's a lush set, that, when you open it up, but...
What pack was that?
It's a Magnet Pack. Yeah, it's like, it's metal, but it falls out into 4 bits and it has loads of artworks, 2-disc. I think it was the original...
Look edition.
Yeah, the Super Deluxe, yeah. Because, like, when they brought Gremlins out for the 30th anniversary, right, they fucking dropped a ball. And Warner Brothers are fucking terrible for reissuing covers. And the only way to tell the difference between Gremlins and the new Gremlins was the back of the box had the original artwork on, because it was now a 2-disc. But at no point on the front of the box did it say Anniversary, Special Edition, 2-disc edition. You know what I mean? They had this absolute cult classic movie and then just slapped it out. You know what I mean? No. Just Warner Brothers are a bit like that. Even like the Goonies 30th anniversary. They go big in America, but never in England.
Yeah. I remember I bought the DVD from America because it didn't come here for ages, and it was the white edition and the special edition, you know, the white cover.
I've got that
and
one,
yeah. The Shadow, and then the white edition, but I had so many extra figures are waiting. We just got a Bare Bones edition over here when it first came out, compared to the States.
Yeah, it's interesting because in America you just cannot get a 3D Blu-ray anymore. So it's weird how, like, back and forward you go, like, all over. Like, I've seen a few YouTube channels where Americans are always saying, oh, I've got to go to UK or I've got to go to Europe if I want to get me 3D Steelbook or my 3D Blu-ray in general. Whereas obviously ours on the other side is that we don't get any really decent editions.
It's true.
But I will say the bubblegum one is very, the bubblegum cover is very questionable, but I would probably go with that more so than the almost like red neon cover with the light bulbs, jump stick with all the crosses. It just, I don't know, like, to be honest with you, it just feels weird. It didn't, I don't know, like, someone obviously turned around and said, let's make something very different than what we haven't seen before, and then that's what got picked. You know what I mean?
There's a Mad Max poster on the roof there.
Yeah, Road Warrior.
Twilight movie in the background.
Which is weird because obviously Road Warrior was the first time Americans seen the film without the first film, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
Now,
but even had to go back and read about American, didn't they?
Now, when Feldman made this, he has memories of this, but again, you cannot ask Feldman what he remembers of filming this because it's such a young age. But that year, he had Friday the 13th, Part 4, and this coming out. I mean, imagine being in school, and that's what's going down. He does look a bit like Austin O'Brien from Last Action Hero, doesn't he, Carl?
Little bit, aye, little bit.
I mean, obviously this opened because he was meant to be in E.T. Corey Feldman, wasn't he? And his part got cut. That's how this kind of happened. Because he was meant to be Elliot's friend.
Have we talked about doing E.T.?
Us as a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, no, we haven't thought about it. Now, there's just a sleight of hand there as well. Obviously, again, going back to filmmakers and how they get around with doing stuff. When he was carrying and walking, and he does it down, he just passes it off camera, and like then you see him sitting there. So it's all like clever stuff, like.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But what's not clever is how often the rules are getting broken. I mean, don't get me wrong, Howard Feldman, there was nothing causing you to spill that water. And then, like, how many times have I put him in bright light accidentally?
Yeah.
It's like, Howard, guys, pick up the pace. You already know. Like, I think you went from one scene to another by putting them in 2 different sets of bright light.
House of Mystery and Conan.
When Gremlins 2 came out, they did loads of like plushies and little figures and stuff. And I had one Gizmo, and I had little and had like a zip on the back, and you zipped it down or Velcro on the back of it.
I've got Daffy still like that because when you unfold Daffy, he turns into the Gremlin.
Yeah, this is like the Gizmo, but had little mogwais in it from Gremlins 2.
Is this where this? Sorry, Paul.
The slime on the ears and stuff like that. I mean, on the faces and that
detail.
Well, it's sort of the real, like, I mean, them heads are massive when you know it, but, like, it's the score really kicking in, that, like, eeriness, you know what I mean? The Gremlins, I mean, I love the Mondo score I've got, but I also like the stuff like Gremlin Madness and stuff like that.
The song at the start, you know, Christmas, I always think it says Gremlins, strange reason. But Jerry Goldsmith, I mean, he's one of my favourites. I absolutely love Jerry Goldsmith. Explorer, Supergirl, Star Trek. He's done everything.
See, would Feldman as a kid totally be that disinterested after just seeing that?
It's neat. Look, those 3D glasses, man. Proper.
I fucking love the noise when this card machine goes off. It's just like, sounds like a fucking Uzi going off.
Give me paper.
I mean, what's with that teddy bear with its head, a hole blown in the back of its head and that? There's so much going on, like.
Give me D440. You always need to do a D40 when you're doing some work. It's handy for everything.
Well, that's it. If you want it to move, WD-40. If you want it to stay still, gaffer tape.
It's a pretty good idea, like.
I'm surprised they haven't brought it out as a, you know what I mean? Especially Z to the I. They're always grabbing on anything.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with they did the walkie-talkie thing for Home Alone, didn't they? Well, not them, but it was not meant to be a real product.
Oh, well, the fucking... Oh, and they had that Uzi stuff that they slipped on and shit.
Voice changer and that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Donkey Kong.
So cute. Came up loads of lot of things. Remember them?
Now, you've got to look at this shot here when Stripes spits, and it's...
Horrible.
But the thing is, it's the puppeteer reacting to the dog, and it's fucking priceless. Now, it would be done with CGI. It's coming up here. Watch the dog. To Gizmo.
Yeah, he's totally
It's
what's
just,
going on.
like, that's a one-off take, that, like.
It's horrible.
And even there, like, you don't pay attention, but one of the Gizmogwais is batting the other one on the head with a chicken drum. But you've got to, like, I mean, even years after seeing this over and over again, you still look at it now and you go, fuck, Look at that. Joe Dante should have played the guy in Ready Player One.
Yeah. That would have made more sense, like.
That would have been quirky. Do you think Steven Spielberg's going to do Ready Player One number 2?
It'd be interesting because I don't think it failed, but I don't think it got the hype that everyone was expecting. I think a lot of people turned up because of the retro aspect of it, but I don't recall a lot of people talking much about like the story and whether they would be invested in another one. So
I think it came out
interesting.
Well, it's going to depend on the book, isn't it? Because the book's coming out, the new book.
Yeah. But you always run into the same old issue with stuff like that. It's like, obviously, I think you've got Ecto 1 in there somewhere, but because they couldn't get the rights to the Ghostbusters, which is basically, the license plate was different, they didn't have the Ghostbusters logo on it and stuff like that. And I just feel like you'll always get, like, that sort of stuff happen, but it's like, you've already done the first one, so you'll have taken up, like, pretty much all the major titles that you could. And then you think, well, hold on, I've got 2 now. Don't get me wrong, there's probably still a shit ton of like products and films and that they could use, but
the Gremlins were in Lego Movie 2. Remember?
Yeah.
The Gremlins were in Lego Movie 2 for 2 minutes.
They were in Batman, weren't they? Lego Batman.
Lego Batman, yeah. I think Lego Batman, Lego Movie, one of them ones. Are you guys up to the bit where I'm having a coffee now? Just because my thing.
Look,
yeah.
I mean, look.
I'm wondering that he's literally picked it up as if he's considering drinking it. It's like tar.
It's like if you look in the foreground there was a fruit with wires sticking to a speaker, and I'm like, what's that about?
Moving around. That's like potatoes with electric, isn't it?
Now you want.
The King Kong scene in Ready Player One definitely has to be up there with one of the best moments of that film. So I want to mention that.
Now, what I remember from the comedy, this actor here, I'm sure he's married to someone really famous. But I just totally forgot. I listened to 2 commentaries and there was a lot going on.
I was here to the cast commentary and the director's one of it.
There should be a Gremlins one.
Yeah. Just the entire audio, like a Freddy Got Fingered crowd reaction, just the Gremlins watching it. That'd be outstanding.
Or like is it Mars Attacks? No, it's Spaceballs. Well, they got the little.
There's a piranha. There's a piranha Easter egg there underneath his foot.
I saw the jaw now.
So they would have filmed this in 1983, came out in 1984, or well, 1984. Then have to reset the set again for Back to the Future. Then use it again for Monster Squad. Then use it again for Back to the Future 2 and 3 at the same time. Jesus Christ.
And it looks the same as Groundhog's Day as well.
Yeah. It's in everything, isn't it?
I never get this, you know. I'm like in America, right? People like just seem to like be able to drive home. It's like you see it in so many movies where they're like, right, I'm just going to drive home. I feel okay. I mean, I've never drove drunk ever. I've had a sip out of a beer can and it felt sketchy going to pick my mate up because my mate ran and said, "Oh, can you pick us up?" And I was like, "Oh, I've just had a sip of beer." It was a sip of beer, and I remember driving, being dead paranoid. I wouldn't fucking drive a tractor home.
But then they don't have like seatbelts, like proper seatbelts. The main is not even long enough to have seatbelts, and then obviously it's a small little town where everyone knows everyone. So
just about to say though, like the towns are so small. Like he's probably only going to drive like 10 minutes, at the very most, for the side of the town. Not that I condone drink driving, but I can understand like in those sort of little town areas, it's probably a little bit more like, okay, just be careful, you know, just don't go too reckless. You'll be out.
Yeah. Laws have changed.
But then you do in the background, look at all the snow. It is a snowplow, but at the same time, it's like adding a little bit more.
So yeah, so that's the street Marty runs down the end of Back to the Future, isn't it? It's got to be.
Yeah.
Next to the cinema.
Yeah. I mean this is a great little setup here. The Christmas carols to like later on, like.
Did you pick those up? Those Gremlins up the Caroline?
No, I ended up buying the turtles instead. Really, around that time,
I
like
came close a couple of times, but
they're just too expensive. Like, I mean, I've got a lot of the nectar ones. And I mean, I've got the lightning gremlin and shit like that. But like, I've got spider gremlin, and bat gremlin. But the rest of them just become ridiculously stupid.
It's an Olympic Gremlin that's coming out.
Yeah.
that looks terrible. That's a cash grab and a half. Well, it's a Comic Con exclusive or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've literally taken a generic Gremlin film and like made a torch and some underwear and said, "There you go, that's now an exclusive." It's like bullshit. Don't believe it. Just to mention before, Mason, you mentioned that that teacher had married someone quite famous. It was Aretha Franklin.
That's the one.
Yeah. Now divorced, by the way. So
Well, she's dead, so there we go.
Harsh.
Coming out, isn't it? Think what it's called. Better Life.
Or Franklin.
He's now married to Joanne Allen. I don't know.
Joanne Allen, as in from fucking Look Who's Talking.
That's good. Yeah, email.
Alright.
Bloody Nora.
I was going to say, keep in mind, I'm guessing she's not famous because the Aretha Franklin name is highlighted as if I can select it, whereas he was married to someone called Ula M. Walker, and then divorced her, and then Aretha Franklin divorced her, and then, I don't know about divorce. Oh yeah, he does been divorced. And then there's Joanne Allen.
This is such a good shot. I mean, when he's talking to her on the steps and the music's on, it's really, really lovely and sweet. It's just kind of innocence, isn't it? The film.
Well, it's kind of like they're the only two of their age in that town, except for his mate in the bank. You know what I mean? And like they've never asked it out, and they're always in love with each other. But again, these two were cast together in the casting because they just work so well. But I think it's
yeah, lighting. It looks really, really good. I mean, I'm just noticing it now watching because I haven't seen this one for quite a while. I'm just noticing it's really like soft focus, and his is like a bit of a hard focus on him, and she's it's completely different. That's lovely. Maybe I'm just there. Yeah.
Oh, not because, but I mean, you didn't join us on the last podcast. We had Mr. Sluggy, the guy who hasn't seen the Goonies, but Carl, that end scene when Schwarzenegger's shot and it keeps cutting back to Austin O'Brien, that was hard to watch, like, wasn't it? That was really hard to watch. They actually had to refilm his death scene because he originally gets stabbed to death in the face, and they reckon it was just too. But again, you go back to when this came out, right? It would have been very, very cleverly marketed, right? It false obscured people thinking that it was another ET film, especially the colours, and people walked in and like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, again, Poltergeist, that's a 15. And I think it was a PG-13 in America. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's a horror film over here. Poltergeist. Again, Spielberg again.
Well, there's Body Snatchers as well. I mean, Joe Dante tried to get all his favourites and all his favourite characters just in the background. He basically abused Warner Brothers' archive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely mentally gremlins, these mogwais, and
they'd be locked up in another room if it was my life.
But this is where it would be the end of Gizmo. You wouldn't see Gizmo after the scene, and I think Spielberg made the right decision by far.
Definitely.
So what were they suggesting doing with Gizmo then?
He turns into Stripe. See, Gizmo becomes Stripe.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Still tired.
Excuse me.
So this would apparently be released on the very same day as another famous 80s film. Do we know what it is?
I don't know, but on the fridge, there, that smiley sticker is from The Howling.
Right.
Sorry, what are you going to say? What are you on about Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Was it right?
Ghostbusters, yeah.
Obviously. I like how it's like...
This is quite a grim scene, isn't it, really?
Horrible, isn't it?
All that kind of slime and... it's a little bit like... horror-ish, isn't it?
It's the eyes. It's the like determination on the eyes and all that. Like, right, it's fucking on.
He's a bit of a snob, isn't he, Gizmo? No. The 3D magazine here.
say, like, when I think of Gizmo, I'll always remember the dancing.
I mean, what the fuck is on his desk there? Half a brain. I mean, so random.
But yeah, I mean, I think I watched like I think a really vintage thing about the making of it. But you're right, Mason. The head's around like 2 foot wide.
Yeah.
So you can get the best detail. Because obviously, if they did any smaller, they couldn't put animatronics in it. Can you guys remember the BT advert a few years ago where they used Gremlins to fix the computers?
No.
No, I can't remember it. Oh man, check on YouTube later on. But it's a BT advert, and it did like ET, and it did Gremlins, and it's like if there's something wrong with your computer, it's got Gremlins in it called BT. I will come and fix it. And I had like Gremlins arms and stuff in the computers and stuff.
I wouldn't trust BT to fix anything. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Because he's actually in. Is he not in Inner Space? That actor there. Because I'm sure that like it's another guy who's in a lot of Joe Dante films.
I love Inner Space.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Uh-oh.
It's just horrible. The cocoons are so horrible. But like I said, like going back before, it's like there's like slime and there's this and
KY jelly.
Yeah, it's just horrible. It reminds me of the alien pods actually. Now watching it again, or big.
The lighting as well. It's got like a green tint, even on her face there. For a second, it was quite. The lighting in that room.
It's got built sick. That's why.
I mean, who does not want a fucking bedroom like that, man? The attic room is just fucking class. You would never move out.
Tell it to me, brother.
I'll see you in the attic.
Aye. Talk them.
Man, what's going on?
Did you ever watch the Keith and Paddy picture show that one of the Gremlins on?
No.
No.
You might like it, you nerds. Now I learned loads from this film about cocoons and stuff like that than I did in school.
Oh man, I was school like every time you saw American like especially the younger age, and you think about when you go to secondary school and you think, am I gonna have to dissect a frog and all that? And like you get there and it's just fucking textbook after textbook, no interaction, nothing to do, and like for years they had Bunsen burners sticking out your desk, like the little pipes. They never fucking once switched them on. It's like, come on.
We used to just put a little bit of piece of paper in there and light it.
Well, you guys are from Stanley. I mean, fucking hell, I'm surprised you went to school.
No, this was in like Manchester. This was like a nice school. This one.
Is that the first ever mobile phone there?
A wireless technology.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
I mean, I can't say it's like a...
Right, there's Jerry Goldsmith. Behind him.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg.
Yep. Robbie the Robot.
Robbie the Robot and the Time Machine, which brilliantly disappears in the next scene. And that's meant to be Joe Dante walking past. But that is actually Zach Gallion's standing, I think.
Right.
But when it cuts back and the Time Machine's gone, it's brilliant.
Done a lot of work. I mean, obviously not a huge amount of quality. There you go, the Time Machine.
I just love Joe Dante, man. Who else would think of doing that? I mean, little hidden things like that. I've just seen before, we gingerbread man.
Bite its head off. Rah! I'm sure this guy here, the bank manager, I'm sure he's the grandpa in 16 Candles, because I just watched that the other night, and I was like, I recognise him from somewhere, and then I seen this and prepped for this podcast, and I was like, it's got to be him.
I think I've only ever seen 16 Candles once. I might have to watch it again.
The guy as well, just looking at the background, that's the guy from the bar who's just disappeared as well. So obviously Joe Dante, you know what I mean? He hasn't cast loads of extras. Right, you're in this movie. Well, I need you in the scene. What am I doing? Nothing. You're just in the queue at the bank because you know that's where like you would be.
It's a small town, isn't it? Yeah. They've got a projector, man.
I was going to say, we didn't have projectors around this country, really, did we, in schools?
We just built the TV in.
TV on the, yeah.
The video player that's been recorded on like BBC Two schools or something like that. But it's good like the video that the projector is doing a film, and it kind of overlaps with what's actually happening, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a nice subtle way to, like, you know what I mean, and then fading in this box as well. And again, this is where horror, because you think it's still, you don't know what the fuck it is because it wasn't on the poster. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, what the fuck's in there? And it's like the. But again, looking at the front as well, there's loads of spikes and shit, and the green neon lights. When you open the Mondo as well, the gatefold, this is the picture you get. Again, though, the idea of putting Gizmo in here, because Gizmo was meant to be it, but how do you make, like, so you just have to use Gizmo's head, do you know what I mean? The thought of ways to, like, keep Gizmo out of shot.
Hide him a little bit. Nom nom.
Oh, what's in the box?
So would you class this is this a horror film?
This has bounced around. For a long time this was classed as sci-fi, which I was like, what the fuck? I think now there should be a cult film section, because it's not a family film, but it's not a action movie, you know, it is a borderline horror. It's a horror comedy, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, obviously they're playing on the idea that they haven't really said what a mogwai is. I mean, if they're going to it, I would say if it was supposed to be some creature, like you said earlier on, that's been sent to Earth and stuff like that, I would say it definitely borrowed itself closer to sci-fi than it does horror. But because they haven't done that, then I have a hard time. I think fantasy, kind of horror, but like, yeah, I suppose it kind of has a little bit of everything, though, doesn't it? Really, fantasy, horror, comedy.
Well, to me, it exists the same universe as the Goonies. It's a film, you know, and it's a story, and it's just done perfect. That to us, it's timeless.
But do you think it was meant to be as funny as it is sometimes, though? Or do you think it's some of these scenes that were kind of not like thought of last minute, but oh, that's quirky, or that looks a bit funny, we'll play on that?
I think Joe Dante and Steven Spielberg, but they didn't work together again, did they?
Gremlins 2?
No, Spielberg had nothing to do with that.
No, he did not produce it.
No, I think he might have an executive producer because he might have some fingers in his pie of this. But Warner Brothers tried making a sequel for years and just went to Joe Dante, do whatever you want with it.
Well,
yeah.
And it's basically produced that with Joe Dante.
Oh, is that a Spielberg as well?
Yeah, he produced
God, he had his fucking fingers and everything, didn't he?
My business, man.
Shit.
Because they're so drastically different, you can only watch the first Gremlin or the second one. The other one gets erased. Which one do you pick?
Well, the thing is, do you say Gremlins is a Christmas movie? Because I've seen this like around at Christmas, and it starts off with a Christmas song. It's a Christmas movie.
Well, it lives in the same pile as Die Hard, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah, I would say it is a Christmas film, but I can respect someone saying, no, it's a film based in during a Christmas time. But then again, he is a Christmas gift. They are playing Christmas music, so I suppose, yeah, it goes down as a Christmas film.
Oh, because it's a Christmas film. But for me, it'd be Gremlins 2. The reason why is because Gremlins 2 is just a bit more comedy for me.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking packed that movie.
Gremlins 2 wasn't it more like a parody of itself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yum.
Which was an interesting way to go, though, isn't it? Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously Joe Dante is, like, out there. But, I mean, when you've got something like this, which, I mean, Paul, do you have the figures on what it made?
No, I haven't got anything today. Sorry, guys.
No, that's fine, because I can look it up. I didn't want to say it in case you had them.
No, I'm blind.
You're blind to do. Didn't see that coming. Let's have a look. So the budget was 11 million, and worldwide it made 153 and just under half a million. So it's not a bad comeback. So when you think of something like this that made that much money, and it was obviously well received. Why would you go a full-on parody on the second one?
Because no one knew what to fucking do. Like for years, like loads of people tried the scripts until they eventually went back to Joe Dante and go, look, do whatever you want to make a sequel, and that's how Gremlins 2 happened. Because they tried for 5 years to make it.
Didn't Joe Dante say that he would rather make it than give it to someone else? So that's why he did it for, instead of having hands to someone else. So
I think he just got given a big paycheck and just free to do whatever he wanted with it, really.
Well, that would have been an easy day for him, wouldn't it? Someone turned around and said, there's your budget, you know, just make us a Gremlin 2. This is a fun thing for him to do, isn't it? Especially when you see what happens in Gremlin 2, because it's fucking out there. You know what I mean? Some of the scenes are like, what? And, you know, Hulk Hogan pops up, man, and it's just like weird.
And
very enjoyable.
And then in the video edit, it's Clint Eastwood, isn't it?
John Wayne. John Wayne.
So weird.
Now, this is
that being said, I'm going with the first one, so you answered my own question from earlier on.
Now, this is the first appearance of a Gremlin. And it's...
Yeah.
It's not too much, it's not too little, do you know what I mean? And then gone.
The bum would hurt.
Well, that's it, they only showed you what you needed to see. Didn't put it out there too much. Which is why I went with 90s It, Mr. Paul Ray. Because earlier on, a question earlier on, because the bottom line is, the new It films, they're good horror films, but I just saw way too much Pennywise. He's supposed to be like a suspenseful character. And he was on the screen every 5 minutes.
Poor Gizmo and the bloody thing getting darts thrown at him.
It's funny though, because like, it's like the Gremlins know who Gizmo is, and they just torture them rather than kill him. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you kind of got to, I mean that bit there. But again, this scene here is how to take Gizmo out of the story for a bit. Because now, if you followed the original story, she gets a head lopped off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's some brilliant things coming here. I mean, the bit where you see the shadow on the wall, the prey, and then the first reveal of it actually sitting on camera right in front of you in its ear. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just fucking masterful. It'd all be done with CGI now.
Did you see the bit where Gizmo fell down the thing and the camera shook like it did, like a comedy film? I love that.
Yeah.
There's subtle things there, like the lights are still on in the cocoons, and just, you know what I mean? I mean, why Billy has his phone down there? I mean, come on. They're here? Phone home. That's a total AT reference, you know what I mean? Phone home.
I think if it was a Project Gold's score with this, I mean, you would lose so much with it. You can imagine John Williams doing a score to this. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those films where the music is almost the character and the film itself. Were you actually genuinely scared of the Gremlins?
I wasn't as a kid. I mean, I've seen this pictures of my dad's mates and like, and this creepy ass fucking cinema in Isle of Man.
On top of the, again, detail.
I never noticed that before.
Yeah, neither have I. Oh.
They need to dust it. Pretty hacky.
Yeah, this is the scene I was on about here. Great little shadow effect coming up. I mean, even look at the hands.
Well.
Pretty messy little things, aren't they? Like the figure wall.
You think though, if they do that glass to like an inch to the left, or to the right, would have really hit her in the face, because that was quite close.
Ah, it's this shadow coming up here. It's classic. It's a nice little touch.
Awesome, isn't it?
All in shot though, you know what I mean? Now it'd be CGI.
Yeah.
And you know there were like 15 puppeteers underneath the one in the kitchen just to make it work.
Black rods, isn't it, mainly?
Yep.
Who's Rod?
Who did the puppetry for us? Like, you know, like the you know, like Boss Films did Ghostbusters, ILM did this and that.
Look at him there.
He's awesome.
He's even breathing, man.
Those little legs. It's just proper violent, like, if when I remember of it.
This is in reverse, this shot. That shot of her looking around there, that was in reverse just because it was the only way they can get the head up.
obviously the blood would have to be green so it can actually get that. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
If it was red blood, it would have flagged for an 18. I mean, this scene does get a lot of hate because you can see the black rods here, especially that shot there coming up.
I never noticed it.
Yeah, they can see the black puppet. You can see the wire work there, but like, come on.
I don't know. I've seen it film a million times. I never noticed that.
Fucking just flat out fucking murders him there, like.
It's horrible.
She's got a bit mental, isn't she?
I mean, this is one of the best deaths. But this to me was just like, right, this is why nothing goes in the microwave. But even the gremlin in the background, it's still kicking away that it's been stabbed to death. And that is great attention to detail.
Flea and tick killer.
But this is just a balloon, this, you know. That.
It's fast enough that you don't really see any detail, but you know what it is.
Again, I never noticed a gremlin kicking in the background.
Aye. Gizmo.
I can't get a group for you, Paul, but apparently the design of the puppets were created by Chris Wallace and Rick Baker.
Rick Baker.
Rick Baker did.
Yeah.
He's done a lot, hasn't he? Now, this scene coming up here, again, it's one of them things you don't see it until you're looking. But the red eyes and the Christmas tree, it's so fucking freaky. It's fucking class.
See the stocking on the right with holding anything in, that'd be me. Being a bad boy, this, yeah.
Boy, you think you actually get a stocking?
It'd be a sock.
I know what you'll put in your stocking, Paul.
Don't worry, Paul, I'll go to work, I'll get you a lump of coal.
Thanks, man.
Some cinder. There, look, when the Christmas lights go off, you just see them eyes.
Yeah. Because all the lights go out for a second, don't they? And that's the only thing you see, the eyes.
But it's not Stripe, is it? Stripe's hiding in the box. There you go.
Yeah, there is,
Now, if you don't know and you just listen to us on the wing, I do have a Stripe in my house the size of a real one, and it scares the shit out of my cat.
I literally had that in, like, off the tip of my tongue there, because I was about to say, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned the life-size gremlin that you actually have.
Hey!
It's horrible. The noise from the head.
And it's still screaming on the fire. I mean, if you don't realise you're watching a comedy, you fucking do now.
Oh.
Perfect, you know what I mean? Billy. Now, going back to, like, water, like, if he goes outside in the snow, is he not going to get wet? Yep.
When it snowed, they stopped melting.
But it takes a while, though, doesn't it? Like, you can go out in snow and get covered in snow, but, like, you're not, like, wet.
Unless it's bushy.
Mum's had a bit of an accident. I just battered her in the face. Look after her. I'm batting her. Now, now the scene where he finds Gizmo again, it's a lovely camera trick from like holding him, and when it pans down, he just passes it off to the camera guy, and the one for Gizmo sitting on the sink's already set up and shot. Just really, really good, like.
They need to do the figure laundry, don't they? Bloody hell! Why they mess the bloody house? Oh no, I sound like my mother. Yeah, it's really good, that Mason.
Nope. It's a fucking robot on the phone, man. It's fucking class.
Just so random. That bloke with a pipe still just wandering around.
Magway. When I did the Predator pickups, I was walking around the woods with Gizmo sticking out the backpack, and there's a few people who walked past us and were like, had to double take it because I just had Gizmo's head sticking out the backpack because I was getting right, that's what I want, and then I just but this here, it's the front of the studio.
Huh?
They just done it up. I'm sure it's the front of the Editing suite, I think.
I'm not surprised. to keep costs down, really, isn't it? If you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, 11 million is they've utilised it, like, haven't they?
But it was meant to be a cheap little budget movie, but like it was the animatronics and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they had 7 months to prep it all, and then that's why that's why they've hired all the main actors for cheap. You know what I mean? Because if you cast somebody out of New York in the first feature movie, you're going to get a Shia LaBeouf deal like in Transformers 1, where they're going to get bare minimum. Do you know what I mean? You're going to get you're going to sign over your likeness, you've got no rights to your own name, you get a paycheck, you become famous, and then, that's that, do you know what I mean? I mean, fuck knows what goes flying out there. Billy.
I love that little jump.
I mean...
Isn't it cat noises in a swimming pool? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean... They made that swimming pool green, man, and like, who doesn't want to be in that swimming pool? If that was hot, I would lie in there all night.
Not a million freaking gremlins, I wouldn't.
Not a million fucking gremlins, like, but look at that, man. I mean, what an image. Again, that would be all done CGI.
Cat noises, man. Yeah, you would have like loads of shadows inside the pool, wouldn't you? So you just got some flashing light.
I mean, even there.
Though, I mean, being a bit of a kind of a sour one there, but why is the lights? Where's the multicoloured light coming from?
Just a movie.
It's because of the multiplying. They got chills, they're multiplying it, and they're losing control.
Now, this would have been really, really funny if one of these was in the Goonies as well later on. Like, if there's some connection, because obviously they mention it in the Goonies, but there's a couple of references here, but...
But then again, he would believe him. He would actually believe Chunk because he would have seen them. So then wouldn't have worked, would it?
I don't know. It's just a nice little fucking stretch out, man.
Oh, no. I'm just saying. I thought too much into it. I'm sorry.
I would have lived with a picture of like Chunk on the backboard over there.
I wonder what the body count in this is, because at the end of the day, it's like, because these guys get killed in the car crash, but it's all the deaths are not really like, except for Mrs. Deagle, who goes fucking flying. I mean, this is one scene for the time, it's brilliant, but this hasn't aged well.
I love it now. I love it now. I absolutely love that stop motion now.
Yeah.
Because the Futtermans, they get killed as well, don't they, really?
Nah, they just drive a thing through the thing, don't they?
No, man, they get absolutely gridlocked into the corner of the room, man. You never see them again.
Well, if you don't see them, they don't die. That's the cinema rule, there. Unless you see them die on screen, it doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah, and he's down.
It's got to see him shows me. And a remote the size of a house. The size of a remote.
Fucking in thing, that, man. It's now worse when you can't find the fucking remote, though, like, it's fell on the side of your bed or something.
There's no worse than Gremlins hanging on your friggin' aerial swinging around. Getting friggin' Spanish channels on.
Do you want to take a stab at what the body count is?
10.
30.
Oof. Mr. Ray closer. Oh. The grand total of 8.
Ah, there you go. Would I win to win a Birds of Prey Steelbook?
What?
To win a Birds of Prey Steelbook for getting it right.
No, to me, no, these get killed here.
Done, mate, I'm afraid.
Nah.
Hello, this is when the music really kicks in, though. This is the big music cue.
The Gremlins Rag, as I remember it's called.
Dun, 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 dun.
Did you guys see this in the pictures? You did, didn't you?
I've seen the pictures, yeah.
No, I thought it was for you, Jeff.
No, like back at the pictures again last year.
Oh, yeah, we went to see this at the pictures, their 25th anniversary, yeah.
Yeah.
think it's come back out again, isn't it?
Well, hang on, Carl. What was this? The one where you came and met us and sat next to us?
No, I've never sat next to you.
Ah, you have? You have?
Only, no, well, we went to see Joe's, and you were somewhere else because you were with your mum. I saw you at the beginning, but I met you at the end.
No, what did you come back from Love of Sci-Fi to meet us then?
What is this? It might be this.
Yeah, you sat next to us at Love of Sci-Fi, didn't you? You came back from the Love of Sci-Fi,
yeah,
and you sat and watched this with us. So we've seen this at the pictures, aye.
Yeah, sorry.
Even I forgot about that, mate, until you mentioned it.
This guy here looks like it's like really bad, like fake effect, doesn't it? Like a tash on the hair. Looks like really good. I mean, the Reverend guy.
Yeah.
Looks like some kind of makeup or something of the film. So what do you think?
I can say that Murray and Sheila definitely got killed. Just because I said it before, that if you don't see it, it didn't happen, but they are down as... oh, no, I told a lie. Haha. I should probably read the whole
The
thing.
Futtermans are definitely dead there, like.
No. I've got it here that they survived.
Of course they survived in the sequel.
Did you see what that street was called before when the Gremlins messed with the traffic lights? S. Laurel Street, as in Stan Laurel. There you go.
With a stretch in it.
I love it how they still don't believe him. And he's got one right in front of him.
Yeah, but it's cute look, I've mentioned that.
Yeah, because it's Gizmo. Everyone likes Gizmo.
Looks grumpy zoot.
Does like.
Happy days.
It's like they used the wrong puppet. And so hey, the Futtermans.
Some shit now, don't he?
So
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Isn't he Rambo? When you and wife have become raw.
see, he mentions here the Futtermans here.
Savage drop a cop.
Freak accident. See, they're like, oh, the Futtermans are dead. Like, fair enough.
Freak accident? That didn't mean they died.
Well,
And like you said, they're in a sequel, which I totally forgot about, so that's my
Equal. We're back.
But do you think they died, and you just think they decided to use them again?
well, yeah, because obviously they wouldn't plan a sequel. Because I mean, again, they didn't get the mum and dad back, so I think the Futtermans are the replacement.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
555. Now, what's the name of the cat there? Clawpeck. From the Burbsies.
The Miss Eagle looks different. Yeah, literally does in the bank for some strange reason.
It's got a wig on, that's why. The bank.
Looks real. Yeah. But then in the bank, just kicking off like left, right, and centre.
Well, that's
You
it,
know what I
man.
mean?
Put on your brave face, go to war.
Definitely puts it, I was going to say, it definitely puts the show on, like.
She needs a bloody tidy up.
That a crazy cat lady, isn't it? Excuse me, my chair.
What the hell was that? Is that
Me
your
chair.
chair, mate?
It's a cat.
Yes, I've been at work all day. I'm sitting on my lazy chair. Not on my WWF wrestling chair.
Oh, so it's not your Britbro chair?
No.
I'm actually in
See,
bed.
that,
So.
that picture looks like it could be somebody. Probably not. Actually looked a little bit like Samoa Joe. I do like those mecha figures, but I just feel like again with because there's two sets of them in there. There's one where the Carol is, and then there's another one where like they do it's something else.
Oh, yeah,
like,
there's been-
producing the same figure.
There's been quite a few, and they're expensive collection, like.
I think Nick has made more money from Gremlins and Predator than anything else, haven't they? And Turtles.
Turtles are about to overtake on that one.
Have you ordered your Turtles shell?
Nah,
That's not how we call that.
I haven't ordered any.
This is a brutal death, this, like. I mean, how big's a fucking staircase, like?
Class, that like.
I just love the Gremlins just laugh their heads off.
say we all do though, don't we?
My God.
She might have survived.
She's definitely dead. And
It's interesting though because like these two as well. I mean, in all fairness, it's just like, well, they didn't really need to go for the cops, did they? But
well, Santa Claus, you can't tell me there that Santa Claus is gonna survive there.
But yeah, I think that instead of going for a dark humour, they went to like off-screen kind of stuff, which is good.
I love that. I love that though. That there and that is a terrifying image. That gremlin's face in that window is terrifying. And I love how the music kicks in again and just fucking anarchy is starting. And this is Feldman's last little appearance in the movie. I mean,
yeah, I forget about that. It just disappears. Like we should never cut electric with a freaking metal freaking scissors. Just to let you know.
And that's him done in the movie there. Exit Feldman.
Okay.
yeah, he died. Got electrocuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got electrocuted. He's number 9 death on the thing.
No batteries, no brakes, sorry. Again, that's back on the Back to the Future street though, that.
Yeah.
I was supposed to say, it's went from like a residential area back to the future. It's weird.
The Berg.
Actually weird.
Go, Billy.
Oh, how are you, Billy? Let's go and get the pet. Let's go and get these bloody bastards. I forgot to ask Casper about the 4K transfer because he's into that stuff now. I'm watching a standard definition here, like.
I mean, the Blu-ray looks alright.
The Blu-ray's alright. I mean, it's not like out to brag about, but it's certainly, very, very good for its age.
You guys, we talked about this beforehand. So, like if you watch, let's say, watch a certain VHS or on DVD, it looks proper dated, but it matches it, doesn't it?
Mm.
But
Well, this is it, though.
it looks too clean sometimes.
Well, I've said this with a lot of stuff because it goes either way as well. Because I've had people like complain, "Oh, this Blu-ray is not a very good conversion. It's still grainy, this, that, and the other." But like, honestly, I think people forget just how dodgy VHS was sometimes. So I reckon if someone literally found a VHS and sat there and watched it, you probably find the quality would still be a lot less.
Right, Paul.
Yes, I think we get spoiled.
Now, you guys know when normally I'm doing a podcast for you, I'm always backing something up from the past if I'm not mastering something. And at the moment, in October 2015, I'm about to transfer a file, and I can read the text message out, Paul. Paul Ray, Back to the Future Pop Vinyl Review. Private link video till the morning. That's awesome. Why have you liked that video and shared it? Because I've obviously liked it and then it's put it on my profile that I've liked it. So obviously, it was one of your very first videos, mate, and I accidentally fucking shared it by mistake. And I've got the screenshot of it. August, it was... August... It was the 20th of August at 5 to 11 at night.
And did you finish work? Were you in the metal centre?
No, I'm back at home. Paul sent us the video.
And that's the only time I've ever seen you run a video, Paul. I think you're like obviously in the back of the metro somewhere, and you're doing like a quick review on a pop figure, but I can't remember what it was either.
There's new one called Ray Reviews coming out soon.
Ray Reviews.
There's the Flasher.
Yeah.
Who makes
Come on, Phoebe. You're not going to stand there and serve them like you're still acting doing a day job.
No, this is all just like cartoons, really, isn't it? Based on my sketch.
Loads of skits, Magic 8 Balls and Mouse.
Star Wars on the arcade there.
Classic.
Obviously teasing that there is a girl gremlin that there isn't.
Called Betty.
There's only one female gremlin and she's in the second one.
That's Gretna, yeah.
Yeah.
And Robert Picardo gets her.
Paul, I reckon if you did generally do like a review video, I just think if you got to go all in, I reckon you should paint yourself completely blue and just have blue rays reviews.
I know. It'd just be re-reviews.
I mean, even here, the Ray Charles one, innit?
Yeah. I love this one as well, though. There's a proper stoic. I'm sitting there enjoying my beer, not getting involved in all that shite.
Then I come on doing a Kermit the Frog voice. Hi everybody.
And is this when Monster Madness kicks in?
It is with Flashdance music. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I love this song. This song gets me every time, like.
There's no data to it. I mean, look at me. That's just stringed puppets, but oh god, look at snot. Oh, you did keep us.
Again, though, you just don't notice this shit unless you're looking like and like. I mean, that's just mental doing that, like. But well.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
I mean, again, that's a startling image.
Yeah. I think it's quite impressive when you think about all that going on in that.
Most impressive. It's Star Wars, I think. It is like one big cartoon. They watch so many like One Brothers cartoons and we'll put that in. We'll do this. We'll do that. Sign of the times, yeah, like
Polaroid
camera. But there's evidence laws, isn't it? For the government to come in.
Yeah, I reckon they should do stuff like that though, like literally have like a Blu-ray anniversary edition, and then have like actual like replica Polaroids of those shots and stuff like that. It'd be dead cheap to do, and it would just be like it'd make all the difference.
I remember. I think it was last year. NECA had like a toy booth, and I had all like the scenes set up with all the Gremlins, and it took like 5 to 6 hours to get the booth up. It was crazy.
I've got a few of them reaction figures, like, and the Bandit's one of them, like. Well, the Flash of Gremlins actually been a pop vinyl, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, it was Gremlins 2 one, wasn't it? For some strange reason, even though he's in it, but I was recalling from the first one.
Poor Gizmo, still getting it.
The reliable car.
Go and done with.
Yeah.
Run! I mean, just there's so much going on there. You got people in the windows and the shadows and the rooms.
Yeah.
Fucking everything explodes and one's popping out, swinging from the rafters. I mean, just fucking carnage.
Oh, this is the way it gets a bit like weird. This monologue.
This is Carl's favourite bit. This man.
Is it Carl?
Now, at some point here is where they find what's he called, Paul from Beverly Hills Cop.
Right.
Judd.
Reinhold.
Right, because he ends up in the police cell in the deleted scenes. Because he's in the bar scene and then he's completely gone from the movie, so he does have a deleted scene around this area where they find him. It might be even in the bank vault, it might not even be that, you know what I mean? But he got completely cut out of the movie, and I think that's a bit of, looking back, it's a bit of a waste, like, but that's a crack.
Because obviously she does this bit again in the second one, doesn't she?
Oh, and he goes, you don't have time for this, and just fucking... Well, this is a lot of people find out about why Santa Claus isn't real as well, though.
What? Because her dad got burnt alive?
But no, just like the actual story of just Santa Claus, like, being a human.
Didn't Joe Dante want to take this out, but Spielberg wanted it kept in?
I think it went in and out, yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I'm sure that like Joe Dante wanted in, Spielberg wanted it out, and they'll do a compromise or something. Because it does slow the film down, doesn't it? But then you needed this in here to have a bit of a rest.
I mean, it does run nearly 1 hour 50 minutes, though. You could do a trimming it back a bit, like.
See, not in a criticising way, but I would say that with this, this is where it goes into fantasy film. I feel like you would have had a way better time if you were sticking to horror, if you didn't have all that carnage outside. If it literally was just like we're stuck in one building and they're fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
And make it a bit more creepy rather than just going like way out there. Not that, like I say, it's a critique, because I think the film's pretty decent as it is. It's just like this scene here, right? The speech is horrible, right? But even like the lighting on it, and like it feels like they're taking it serious, which I feel like is the downside of it. So I don't mind bad dialogue and shit like that, because you get that with 80s films, or you get that with a lot of films. But it just like that scene there was really played for a heartwarming moment. It was like, how can you take that serious? So
these days, if it made it these days, it'd be vape. It'd be selling vape machines.
They probably wouldn't acknowledge smoking. That's the problem.
Well, guys, say things are right now. They're all gone. All gone. That's it. And the reason why we like this film for, because it's like you get to see in the cinema, don't you?
yeah.
Another hybrid, though, is it's going to be very soon. We're going to have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which I think is hysterical. But again, it's a Warner Brothers production and showcasing a Walt Disney film.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a thing with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. At the end, we had loads of Warner Brothers cartoons of Disney things. You know, right at the end, but it would have like Toontown.
Yeah. Well, that's the only crossover I've ever done, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. But then there was that time where Disney needed the money, because obviously Disney weren't doing that well, were they, really?
No, yeah, they struggled in the transaction of the 80s, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then they did all those like Little Mermaid 2 straight as sequels, and they did those Back in a Vault things and stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think Disney really struggled until they made the big jump, and I mean, this is where Disney run ahead of Warner Brothers, because Disney got into a Pixar, and like the technology and advancement Pixar made, Disney really like poured all the heart and soul into that, and that's why. Yeah, and Warner Brothers didn't. You know, Warner Brothers make fucking shitloads of DC and stuff like that, but Warner Brothers don't do anything cinematic big.
Yeah,
Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah. I think it's a good little cinema scene.
Well, again, like Warner Brothers have put stuff in like Scooby Doo and all that, and they do a lot of like the home releases, but like they've never went for like big. Like they've never went for like let's do it, because they tried doing a Tom and Jerry movie in the 90s and it didn't exactly do big and well.
Yeah.
But they've never done a like He's Bugs Bunny the movie on the big screen. Space Jam was a big thing, but again they were focusing on like live stuff. They haven't bothered to try and compete with Disney, and especially like with rising companies like DreamWorks and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
I think that time I seen Warner Brothers, it was with New Line, and that was it, Chapter 2.
It's when they start singing I hope, I don't know it, we go. I ho,
It's probably been taken out and changed around. Because anything that gets released, at least they'll have to pay Disney money for Snow White, don't they?
Well, at least they didn't use Song of the South. Fine, you know what I mean? That could have been disastrous for the movie.
Nothing wrong with that film, man.
I hope. It's off the work we go. And then Gizmo's singing in the background. Hi-yo!
So, just because I was curious about what else Judge, right, whatever you call him, did. I must have like blinked in 2013. When was there a Beverly Hills Cop TV series?
They made a pilot with Eddie Murphy as the chief of police, and it's meant to be his son, and it didn't get picked up.
Yeah. So it just didn't get released then?
It's never been released, yeah.
Because it's interesting. Oh, there we go. I was about to say it. They've got him down as Detective Axel Foley, like.
Good.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah. That's weird. That like, I'm just not surprised it didn't get picked up, but.
I bet that's when you two got pictures. If that's what it's like, you know, just craziness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some popcorn. I'm gonna get gingerbread man and popcorn tomorrow.
What do you randomly?
As long as you don't have any popcorn on the podcast, because that not be allowed. Are you alright, Paul? Aye.
I'll be honest with you. I'll not give away which one it was, but there was only one podcast that we've done where I decided to have a snack, and I had to sit there, and it was just like the most unenjoyable snack ever. Because I thought, just do it really slowly, don't chew too loud, make it sound like you're not doing anything.
Turtle.
Yeah. Next time I won't do it.
Was it turtles?
It wasn't the turtles. No.
Was it piece of candy?
Might have been one of them.
We did freaking 6 in 1 week, so I'm not surprised. Be a cup of tea after this for me. But yeah, I think like anything with the pictures or film wise, I loved as a kid. Like, you know, like the Wizard. You know, where they going around like the back of the.
Oh, I mean the bit with King Kong and the Wizards, it's fucking class.
Yeah.
Absolutely class, man.
Or go back to like, the Blob remake where it's at the cinema. And, you know what I mean? It's just certain things. Again, it's going back to the pictures for us because that's what we grew up and we love movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd probably say movies is me second love in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember seeing films at the pictures I've never seen on DVD. Like Dinosaurs, you know, the ones where they had the jackets and they were fighting crime and like
yeah.
that. The fucking aliens from Mars.
Space Invader.
Maybe's Eye when they're all geeky and that. Fucking Suburban Commando.
Yep.
Like those kind of like films that era, Richie Rich and stuff like. Go to the pictures, see them all, and they've just disappeared from somewhere.
Yeah.
Just them in America, they've never come over here.
I mean,
They've never come over.
I mean, look at that one there where he's got a fucking chainsaw, man, and a fucking mask on. It's like, that's actually happened now. There's people running around with fucking surgical masks on and fucking chainsaws.
Did Martin McFly the DeLorean into the cinema, or was it just something I'm thinking of completely?
No, the DeLorean goes into the...
Yeah, I read that.
The poor cinema.
Now, there's a few little cameos when he's in here, because E.T.'s in this in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, that even looks like a Gremlins toy in the window there at the bottom, but it's not. That's definitely a one-off take, that, isn't it?
Breaking that window.
Imagine that, right, on this take you need to take out the candy sign. Oh, I can't do no take.
Take it to the candy shop. Don't stop.
Now there's a tough one for you. Who's your 80s sweetheart?
80s sweetheart?
William Shatner.
No, he's up there, like... I would say Phoebe Cates in there. Again, she looks amazing in that, but I don't know, 80s sweetheart's like...
Elizabeth Schumann.
Elizabeth Schumann. For me, probably Jennifer Connelly when I was a kid.
Oh, nah.
Jennifer Connelly.
When I was a kid.
Now there's something to mention though. Obviously you mentioned, I think Mason, when you said that she was in rumours to return. For Labyrinth 2.
Yeah.
I've just read an article today. Apparently, they're playing around with doing a CGI Goblin King.
If you check on the YouTube, it should be on there. I threw it straight on.
Oh, did you share it? Did you?
Of course I did.
Well, because I thought you could probably get away with it to a certain degree, but it all depends on what. Like, it's just difficult to judge. Like, if someone said, "Oh, is it a good idea?" It'll be like, well, yeah, even if they do that, I mean, I always said, like, with Carrie Fisher, when they were talking about how they were going to reuse her for Princess Leia, like, they could do, like, a blue hologram, you know, even if you, like, it sounds daft, but even if it's, like, a bad signal, so it doesn't have to look, you know, strictly like her, it just has to be animated. and I get away with that animation.
Can I just say how much technology was in that room where he's smashing those TVs? Were absolutely awesome.
What was it? An Atari machine with it looked like
Star Wars, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was Star Wars. It might have been oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
And fetching rods. The cool toys.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what you want, like, isn't it?
Can I just say, as a kid, E.T. scared the hell out of me. As a kid.
Well, he's E.T.'s cameo here.
Garfield, the Smurfs, Bugs.
And there he is, E.T. next to Sylvester.
Spits it out. I've got like a love and hate relationship with E.T. I love him, but I hate him at the same time.
Well, a friend of mine, I didn't know until, like, obviously I showed her. Have you seen that silly picture? What it looks like E.T. on a spit roast on a barbecue.
No.
It's a weird piece of meat that just looks like E.T.'s head, and I just thought it was hilarious. And I was at work, and I said, "Here, look at this." One of the lasses at work, and she fucking freaked out. I hadn't realised she literally has like a genuine fear of E.T. in general. She just can't stand the look of him. I was like, that's a I never really cared.
I mean, this is not a very like child-friendly department store. Like, we're just fucking ball blades just lying around and shit. Like,
well, it Target.
Fucking love
like
that scene.
That Target World, a Walmart, where like literally twice as big as our Asda, and it sells everything.
It's like Dobbies.
Yeah.
Just random stuff. Now, can you guys, obviously we talked about this before, look at Gizmo. Can you guys remember the Warner Brothers shop, yeah? I think that's the last time I've seen anything Warner Brothers to buy. Because you don't really see like plushes of Looney Tune characters. Yeah.
Well, listen, it makes you wonder, like, what was so wrong about that shop, because Warner Brothers is still a formidable studio. There's still so much merchandise, but you just don't, like, did they just not make the money? But then again, they were expensive stuff though, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Toys R Us, you don't see, like, Looney Tunes or anything like that. I think the mid-90s was when Warner Brothers Looney Tunes peaked with Tiny Toons, and that was really it.
Because the Warner Brothers shop, I just remember being soft toys and really nice artwork.
We'd have the counter in the middle of the shop, didn't it?
Yeah.
I had Gremlins on the scene, I remember that.
Aye. But there were games as well, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of people think that's where my Gremlin came from, you know.
Yeah, I know. I can see that. I would have thought that if I hadn't known better.
I shop in Granger. Granger Market has a few of those Gremlins in, the big ins. I had the flasher one in.
Yeah.
Poor thing. He's been through the work. It's like, I wish he never got a bloody Gizmo for Christmas.
I think Gizmo's had it worse, but Billy is getting pretty kicked in the arse right now.
What would happen if Stripe went to one side, would have cut his fingers off? Just go to one side?
It's just a movie.
I know.
I mean, taking in the fact that Gizmo's about to just fucking hightail it out of there. I've got the pop vinyl of this.
The pink car.
Well, my car is red, and I was just like, well, you know, it's just a pop vinyl, but you know.
See, now, only because the puppeteering being so good, that scene before that we saw where Gizmo was crawling along the carpet, he had completely different eyes, and it was like almost darker black eyes, and it was like obviously clearly just another puppet. But I just feel like that you've got to critique it a little bit, because you know when you've got something so good looking, such a puppeteer, you can't like go really cheap and not expect.
They didn't know how to make Gizmo walk, maybe at the time.
No, they didn't. That was the problem. They didn't know how to make Gizmo walk. It wasn't until they came along with the sequel and they had like the blue screen thing going on.
Yeah.
Another great thing about Gizmo driving there is obviously the big payoff in Gremlins 2, Sylvester Stallone, and he's inspired by Rambo.
You gotta become war.
What?
Strike beat it.
I mean, look at that. Just a gun on display. There's Mushroom the dog.
That dog was just like all the way through the film, was like, what the fuck is going on? That's like,
Best actor of the movie, the dog, man.
oh.
I mean, do you think, unless it's called for, would you bother rename the dog? Oh, the dog's called Barney, in real life it's called Mushroom, right, for the benefit of the doubt, why don't you just call it Mushroom?
I bet you any money it's some kind of acting guild thing that has to do. I bet you any money it's something to do with that.
I mean, look how good the dog was there when Gizmo drove past him, it's just fucking...
But a total dog reaction as well, so it's not like a dog that's going to sit there and look at it like he pounced. That was the way a dog would react. Not like these actor dogs who just fucking...
The guild or actor dogs.
This bit scared the shit out of me in the pictures when I was a kid, like...
It is horrible, like, isn't it? The bit where he starts melting. And the music behind it also. And a, excuse me. And a little is that his eyes? No, it's his finger. This clue, this Audi. At least you get to see the transformation, like, but it is really good. I mean, effects, like. That's how Casper drives it.
It's interesting, like how they have like stuck to like different evolving stages.
Excuse me.
You know, they could have just gone with the same gimmick over and over, but like obviously the way that they spawned from Gizmo, the way that they spawned from themselves, is kind of slightly different. Makes it a bit more sense.
It's fucking hilarious, that. Smashing it.
It's just a puppet. Oh, it is horrible, like, isn't it?
That's gonna give me nightmares, that like.
I remember this in Gremlins 2 was on Channel 5, I think a few years ago, Christmas, yeah, in the afternoon.
Was there much cut out of this on TV?
I can't remember, but it must have been. There's no way this would have been on at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon with have me dinner, have me chicken leg or, you know what I mean, chicken breast. Probably put us off.
There's another jump scare here as well, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
I remember buying an original Gremlins plush from the 1980s from a car boot sale for £1. The guy didn't know what he had, but he laughed at it was wrapped in a pink dress. And I was like, mate, yeah, quid'll do, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, the dress and all that. I was like, yeah. I was like, fucking hell, that guy does not realise that's an original Gremlins plush. Yeah. So I'm so happy I own one, because every time you see him on eBay, they're going for a fucking fortune.
Yeah.
I mean, even this is terrifying, this. Then it's like the...
Still breathing something, yeah.
But that's reversed though, isn't it? Because that's just inflated, deflated, isn't it, really? Again, the dog just stealing the show.
Dog's like, do I lick it? Nah, I bet not.
Well, I guess everything's alright now.
Imagine that. Oh, what happened to the department store? The Gremlins got it. Nothing to do with us.
It is a quick ending though, isn't it? It's
yeah, it kind of concludes.
Like, what, 2 hours you're saying, Milton? An hour and 15 minutes? It's flew by, like.
Oh, it's a quick one, this one. I was talking to Kev today about Waterworld. Oh, sorry, yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, it'll get to the 2 hour mark, and then we're like, fuck, we've got another hour to go with that podcast. But looking back, Robin Hood flew over those, so...
Yeah. So apparently there's 3 just scenes deleted from the HBO family version involving the gremlin dying.
Beheading.
And the scene where Billy's mom uses a blender in the microwave, they're all removed.
Those are the best bits.
Yeah.
His eye makes me feel a bit sick, his eye. It's one of those things, if I was talking to him in person, I would just look at his eye.
I mean, he came He came back for the sequel, but unfortunately died before the film was finished.
Oh, really?
Do you know, like Austin Powers, where it goes mole, you know, if Red Savage is mole and gold member, I'll be like that. Couldn't take my eyes off it.
Is that fun? Well, you would have a field day watching Last Action Hero.
Oh yeah.
Every scene the villain's on, he's changing his eye.
Sluggy did well on that pod. He did well. He wants to do Jurassic Park, Paul, but we said, well, you got back, and then because we're only going to do the first 3, aren't we?
Yeah. It's a Jurassic Park trilogy. I don't see the Jurassic World as a part of the same thing.
Oh no. Oh. This is so sweet, though, isn't it? This end, it is a nice end.
Well, it's the biggest expensive advert for a puppy's life is not just for Christmas, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Chinese.
It's an interesting angle to go, though, isn't it? The whole idea that, obviously, Gizmo being the hero of the story, and he doesn't get the family that he deserves, sort of thing. It's quite a bit of a letdown. Not as a film a letdown, but as a poor Gizmo didn't, after all he's been to.
These little fakes.
When he goes back home where he's safe, busy. But again, credit to Spielberg for making that decision on that.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening to these in any kind of order, the one before this was Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Put these little hints in there. I for once, for ages, I was like, right now I need to keep these in order and all this kind of shit. Then I realised when I released the Police Academy series, I went, hang on, you've got like the darn seam vampires and shit. I was just like, nah, just get them out there. Fucking.
I haven't had a check at that one. How's that one doing? Did it get many views?
I can't tell you at the moment.
Yeah.
So some of them are really starting to climb now. Like, I mean, Tremors is just away with the fucking fairies and stuff like that, man.
I just think, like, obviously not like due to quality or anything like that, but I think with the damn sea vampires, I think that's going to be like one or the other. It's going to get a lot of views because the title itself is so obscure, or it's going to be like, I'm not going to watch something like that.
Well, the problem is you've got the whole film of that on YouTube. That, you know what I mean? So.
Well, this is it, yeah.
Lovely matte paint that. They got painting on that. It's amazing.
So yeah, I would have that as a picture on the wall, like.
Yeah,
that's
you would.
pretty stunning, that, like. Yeah.
You've got more art than the place in bloody Paris.
The place in Paris.
What, the Met?
No, I don't know. I'm too tired now.
Yeah.
How quick
Yeah,
was
Fucking them titles just fucking jump in 3/4 of the way up the screen as well. They don't fucking hang around there.
Right, it's finished. Go on. Fuck off now. That's what it says. Chuck Jones. There you go.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, I watched a very obscure film for what I normally watch, but I watched Breakfast at Tiffany's today, and that was that's a very interesting film. It's a lot more going on in that than what you actually see. I give it a lot of credit. Like,
and if they were got the I'd say we talk about it another time. Frank Welker, obviously. Harry Mandel, Michael Winslow, voices, but yeah, Frank Welker obviously was Prime and stuff. Well, not was Prime. Does Rise and Ghostbusters and stuff like that, and other films and stuff.
He's done loads, though, hasn't he, Welker?
He's in everything.
I don't think a lot of voiceover. You wouldn't like get a quite a big film without seeing Welker's name on it.
So, how many bright lights would you give it out of 10?
Oh, right, lights. Have you got an answer for this one, Mason? You can go first, something.
This is going to be my very, 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 very first 10.
Wow.
Because I got to see this at...
flawless?
Well, I got to see this at the pictures. Oh, fucking that Red Hoods fell over again. I got to see this at the pictures. I got to experience it, and I can still watch it now. It gives me an absolute adrenaline buzz of Christmas. And I watch it every birthday rather than every Christmas. I think the practical effects are amazing. Again, looking back to it and go, oh, it's Back to the Future Zone. I mean, you just can't get bored of the film, and I think there's a lot of things in there. It's funny, it's dark. There's lots of Easter eggs before Easter eggs was even a fucking thing. I think the score's really good, and I just absolutely love it. Like, to be honest with you, and I just think it's just weird how it's transitioned 3 generations later, and kids are still going Gremlins, Gizmo. I see it firsthand a lot, and it's just weird that it hasn't. You know what I mean? It does need a kind of rebirth in a way. I don't think it doesn't need remaking, because it's one of those films that was made in the 80s and lives in the 80s, and you can look at that now 30 years later and it still looks just as fucking good. I mean, Christ, man, it's only 40 fucking years old. It's not 30 years old, guys. It's only 40 years old. Ambling Entertainment there. I just think it's just aged so good. So yeah, I'll give it 10. My first 10.
See, I think for me, I think I'll have to go with. I'm going to give it a 9. I kind of agree with everything you said there, Mason. Although there's still kind of that. I just can't get past Phoebe Cates not being the best actress in the world. You're talking the 80s, you're 84. There's a lot of good female actresses out there, and I know that she works so well with him as a couple. But I mean, I don't know. I'm invested in more than just a pretty face, so I feel like that's the only thing. If I have to remember something of a negativity of this film, I go on what I said the other day.
The delivery of the Santa Claus.
The delivery, even the way they shot it. Like I say, I think that's such a well shot film. But like I say, that one scene, I'm watching it thinking, you were really investing in a heart, like, what was it, pulling at the heartstrings and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's going the complete opposite way, because it's like, I'm thinking it's a funny story, and it kind of is, but they're selling it as such a serious one, and it takes me out just a touch. But I can't deny everything you just said, the music, the visuals, the imagination that's gone into the, you know, and like everything else is just absolutely brilliant, but it's the only thing I can critique about it, so I think a solid 9 bright lights out of 10 is a fair assessment.
Nice.
Just laughing there, it had 35 international warnings at the very end to skip back to the main menu. 35 international warnings.
35.
Wow, not bad. I'll give it around an 8 bright lights out of 10.
8?
Yeah. It has to be. I mean, because I've seen that many times anyway.
You just say 8?
Gremlins. Yeah. That's good for me. Really, that's good for me. I think it does slow down a little bit.
Whoa! Sorry, Paul. Sorry to cut you off. There's a scene here just started, right? And there's Masters of the Universe action figures on display. When the dad's walking around a little store. There's He-Man toys and stuff.
What are you talking about?
The deleted scenes. The deleted scenes have started playing straight away. The additional content. And he's just looking at Masters of the Universe figures. I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, go back.
I thought you were getting grief because you give it an 8.
No. Sorry, Paul. Go back to what you were saying, mate. My bad.
I forgot now.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just give it 8. It's canny. I can see it.
Before we ever stumble through it, it's canny.
Well,
it is canny,
I was in my spiel then, and I forgot what I was going to say. No, Joe Dante is one of my favourites. Explorers, Jerry Goldsmith, Poltergeist, Beam, Spielberg. Great collaboration for both of them. It's dated really well. The animatronics are amazing. The stop motion really adds a bit more, 80s nostalgia to it. Everything about it's actually really good. You can watch it any time of the year. It doesn't just have to be for Christmas. Really gory, really proper comedy, everything. But yes, I'll give it an 8 bright lights out of 10.
The scene I'm on about is It's just sitting there. The kid is just met him outside the shop, so it looks like the original scene outside the shop where he's looking somewhere for his kid, and it isn't good enough. And Ali Long's just walked past the screen as well. Fucking hell.
Ali Long.
But yeah, it looks like it's obviously an additional shop and a China shop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, it's great. I mean, I can't wait to do the second one now. Like, I mean, that'll be interesting. Like, so.
Yeah. I should also mention, just on my defence of the 9, is that all these foreign language warnings, and like I say, Mason, you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yet this Blu-ray does not feature any dub language, nor does it give you subtitles, and that's definitely a markdown in my book. It takes nothing to add those things into it.
Well, not now, no, especially when YouTube does its self-translation and all you got to do it. I mean, I've been told not to watch, like, literally watch anyone from the Northeast on a YouTube translated subtitles, like.
Oof, yeah. Well, the thing about that is, I was talking about that the other day. My mum went, well, I shouldn't say, it was through face cam thing. It's one of these mediums. And the thing is, his gimmick is that he kind of listens to you and he draws what he thinks he's seeing. And in all fairness, I'm very skeptical, but in regard to what he does, he generally gets a really good like image of the person who's passed. But he is full on like northerner, and I've said to her, I said, there's absolutely nothing. And I mean, I might get a little bit hate from this, but I'd take any job in the world, and if you're like a Geordie or a northerner like that, I will not take you serious. It's just that tone. It's just like there's nothing you can say in a more professional manner. But if you do it in a Geordie accent, I can't take it serious. I just think you sound ridiculous. And I know that's how I sound. That's how we all have like that northern twang. But it's just one of those accents that you'll just never be able to have like a really professional kind of tone for. And I always throw back on that when people, because obviously the one that gets mentioned a lot is the Castle episode. It's obviously an American New York series, and they found our quote-unquote Geordie witness, and the bloke's horrendous. The bloke who's been casted to play the Geordie, there's more Irish and Scottish twang in his wording than anything else, but like they're so hamming it up. Like the American lass is going, don't worry, because obviously the whole gimmick is that the two detectives can't understand what he's saying. But like the female one who's like British, and she'll go, don't worry, this is a very strange language from the northeast of England called the Geordies. I can translate this for you. And it's just like, fuck off. You know, it's like, yeah, I can understand them struggling to understand, but like what he was saying was very registerable, if that's a word. Yeah. And it just like, yeah, whatever, mate. It's just like, fair enough, we've got a funny language, but still.
Go back to Gremlins. Do you guys think that there'll be a super duper edition, like another version with loads of more deleted stuff?
Do I think there'll be another edition of it?
I mean, what was the last one? 35 years?
Yeah.
Or 40 years? Yeah, the last one was 35. I would like to see a full pack of the first two films, well, the only two films, that done well, but I think in the world that we live in now, no, I feel like, you know, we still get some really nice edition and collector's stuff and stuff like that, but I don't know, with this film being, I mean, maybe for the 40th, but I personally just don't see anyone sitting in an office now discussing, like, making such a definitive collection for two films.
Just saying there though, is that the extra deleted scenes are playing in the background now, and there's even a sub story going on here about like the idea that the town's going to get taken over for condos and stuff like that. So you could have a reissue of the Gremlins and have it uncut and have the little scenes with the vicar, or the fact that Billy's trying to draw a comic book and he's Troll, I think it was called Troll Warrior, and he's looking at these picture panels and stuff like that, and then it just like that could work. I mean, the footage looks preserved. It's not like your normal deleted footage where it's got timestamp and they haven't even bothered mastering the audio. So that I mean, again, that's the only thing you can do, because Joe Dante has revisited the audio commentary. Do you know what I mean? Dick Miller's on the commentary. You know what I mean? Like, additional stuff there. I mean, at the moment there's like a close up of the Christmas carolers. So there's quite a lot of deleted scenes on it, like, but it's one of those
what
things.
you're saying is, though, like, they've already clearly revisited this, so if there was ever going to do something like that, I think they would have done it by now.
Yeah.
Doing the whole commentary, that the discussion had to be like sort of discussed. Do you want to do a do you want to do a director's cut? Do you want to do a extended? And
yeah, I mean, like I said, what we're put on 4K. You know what I mean? Warner Brothers are knocking out with park, obviously. Gremlins, Goonies, Beetlejuice, a lot, bringing a little more 80s stuff out on 4K. But then you got stuff like the Lethal Weapons, where them in 4K. You know what I mean? So,
Well, the problem with Lethal Weapon is, though, what they'll do is they'll release 1, 2, and then they'll not bother releasing 3 and 4. Then they'll bring a box set out and they'll just piss off collectors. Do you know what I mean?
That's the reason why I haven't really jumped into anything like that. I mean, if I was going to go for 4K, it would just be films I'm after. But then, let's say if we bring out Lethal Weapon, like I said, Lethal Weapon 1, but then do bother the rest of them, I'm going, what's the point?
yeah, well, isn't it? I mean, it all depends on the film as well, because, like I say, I think you can probably see the same for Blu-ray. Really, some films just get like a re-release, which is the most obscure one, considering what's not being released. Sometimes they just don't transfer well, or that the people who have been in charge of doing the transfer have done it half-hour. Because, like I say, we've seen what Jaws looks like in 4K, and it absolutely looks stunning. But even the Blu-ray, you know, that would give him some real detail.
Oh, the Blu-ray of Jaws is like the benchmark. That's the benchmark of what.
Because obviously they've discussed it in the past, saying, no, this is it. Like Steven Spielberg sat in a room and said, no, if we're going to do it, I'm going to be here to do it. And they're going to do it detail for detail. And it goes to prove that you can do it. But the problem is, with most studios aren't like that.
Yeah, they're
and
not
they'd rather
willing.
just say, sign it off, give me my check, and then just redo whatever you want.
Well, it's not just that, as though as well, Universal, what they've also done is they've literally subbed out stuff like The Burbs, like Waterworld, to Arrow Entertainment, or Arrow Video. They, fucking hell. Well, the bank manager's been murdered, by the way, guys, in this additional scene here. He's been stabbed to death. No, he's been stabbed to death with his own nameplate. And the Gremlins have murdered him. Oh, yes, I know. I'll keep on talking. So anyway, they've sublet them out, then they get them back, and then they release it in America under their own label. Right, so he is in the bank vault. Judge, what's he called again? Judge? He is in the bank vault hiding, and the bank manager has been murdered by the Gremlins. So that is, to me personally, looking back at this now, that should be in the movie. That should totally be in the movie. It sums up his character. It shouldn't be left on the cutting room floor. But yeah, that's what happens to him. He's not in the prison cell. He's in the bank vault safe. And the bank manager murdered. So yeah.
But if it was down to a timestamp, though, what would you take out? I'm sure in reality you could take out seconds here and there and make up for it, but if there was a scene that you had to take out of the film to put that in, what do you think?
I would probably chop down some of the cop scenes where they're talking about Gizmo, because it revisits that twice, and then a couple of bits here and there. Obviously, Gremlins Madness. You have a lot of scenes in that. But I mean it's only about a minute scene, that, guys. I would have kept that in.
So it would have made, yeah.
That's a nice little extra scene. Well, this has been the end of Gremlins. We'll be back for Gremlins 2, eventually Waterworld, Jurassic Park, and other stuff down the line. I want to say thanks for joining us once again, Carl and Paul. I've been Stephen Monkey Mason.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, Billy. That's the one here. Bye-bye, guys. Hang on. There's an extra ending. You can have one cameo. Right, okay, be quiet. Right. Right, bye from Gizmo as well.